All right, we are now live. Give me 1 second, my man. Let me do a couple things here.
Oh, sweet.
And then we'll get going. Let's see, 1 second. Everybody, welcome in. I don't think we have anybody yet, but let's see. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Mute that. Cool. All right, guys, welcome in to Wade's Ventures YouTube channel. I have an amazing guest, one of my good buddies who has messaged me for a very long time on Instagram since I've started. We've got Hustling Hill in the house, and he does a lot. Yeah, he does a lot of stuff like me. So I'm really excited about this one, guys. So Hustling, why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Hey guys, my name is Andrew Hill. I was born in San Diego, and that's my hometown and where my heart is. But currently, I'm in San Luis Obispo, attending Cal Polytechnic University. My major is environmental science, and I just after this quarter, I'll be completing my psychology minor. So, although it's kind of crazy though, because during in all my classes, the one thing I always think about is just e-commerce. Like constantly, they'll be teaching away, and I'm just like, sometimes my mind will just travel into e-commerce. Like I want to do this, I want to do that, and but I only have about 9 classes left to take, and then I'll be graduated early. So I try to get in and get out as fast as possible. And I think people take college 2 different ways. Some people take it as a social experience, where you can go party, meet a bunch of people. And personally, I've just been using it as time to start building my empire. So, yeah.
That is amazing. That is amazing, guys. And I want to tell you that it is so really cool to have somebody on this channel that goes to college and hustles on eBay and all the different platforms. I think it's crazy. That's one way to make money on the side, but it's, in the same sense, I think about when I work in my corporate job all the time, I think about eBay, and e-commerce. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, 100%.
So that being said, I think that answers our first question, full-time or part-time. But the question I have for you is, what happens after college?
So as soon as I finish my degree, I haven't figured out yet if I'm going to move back to San Diego right away or stay where I'm currently at, because just recently I got this warehouse here. Let me show you guys. It's a small little storage space, but I previously didn't have any storage space. So basically, I would travel every time I went back home to San Diego for breaks. I would have to bring all my inventory in my truck. And then my dad would also have to come up in his truck and then bring my inventory. So it was like a constant cycle of like bringing like hundreds and hundreds pairs of shoes in both of our trucks, driving 6 hours back to San Diego. And it just wasn't feasible. But now that I got this storage space, it makes things a lot more smooth, and I'm able to expand. So pretty stoked on that.
Dude, that is impressive. Like that is bigger than my area.
Really? Yeah, it's like I honestly wonder how much like people would, or how much it would cost like per month to just rent out a storage space like this, because I really have no idea.
That is, and while you're doing this, you're going full time, for college. Is that right?
Yes. And I've taken about 16 units a quarter, which is like the average takes about 12 units. But I just my mentality was just to get in, like get my classes, and get out as fast as possible. But like as soon as I'm finished with my degree, I want to start doing more generic products, and do some private label, not necessarily on Amazon, but just generic products in general that I can sell on eBay. Just because I've been doing a lot of research. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of King of E-commerce on Instagram, but like that dude absolutely kills it, and he uses Alibaba to eBay. Like nothing special. Research and time is basically what he does, and that dude ships out like thousands and thousands of packages a weekend.
Wow. Where do you live? I'm curious. What state?
So, I live in California.
And so it's not cheap in California.
No, absolutely not. As of right now, I'm splitting a two-bedroom apartment with three people, and it is like about 700 or 750 per person. And my buddy from back home and his girlfriend live in the room, and then I live in my own room. So it's a really nice place. But next year I'll be paying 1,050, and then my other buddy's moving in, so it'll be 1,050 per person, which is very, very expensive for me. But
Yeah, holy cow. especially going to school too. So I'm
yeah.
curious. I'm curious. How did you find out? I mean, because you're going to school, right? But what made you? I know this is a weird question, but what made you want to sell online? Like, did you randomly see somebody sell something on eBay? Like, what made you know that you wanted to sell on eBay?
So I'm pretty sure Reezy Resells was actually my first inspiration. At first, I can't remember if it was on Instagram or whether it was YouTube, but I was just doing some searching and Reezy Resells popped up, and then I started following his channel and I started watching all of his book stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna flip books on Amazon. And at the time, I was talking to Jedi Commerce. And I was just seeing that since I'm on a campus, I could take advantage of the book game, which I actually have not done yet. But then after I found Reezy, I remember seeing, I had gone to Ross like plenty of times before and had known that they had just incredible prices on shoes and clothing. And so then I found Hustler Hacks and watched a few of his YouTube videos, and I was like, well, shit, I need to try this myself. And then I honestly, at first, like, no one believed me. My parents were like, what are you doing? Like, nothing's going to sell. They told me to stop buying inventory at one point. Actually, several times they were just scared because, like, my bank account went from about 7,000 to zero. And they were just like, they were very concerned that I was not using my money wisely because they're not familiar with this kind of e-commerce, you know?
Mhm.
My dad works for Vallecillos Water District. He works in for the city, and then my mom did real estate, and she works at a school for special needs kids now. So they have never really dealt with like a business, and I knew that and every time I bought a product, I would research it and I would know the market. So whereas they would say, "Oh, like why don't you just wait till you sell that stuff?" And it really just, in my opinion, there's a right buyer for the right price. But the time will come as soon as that buyer comes. But so I just kept buying and buying, and then uh, I started seeing results very slowly. But like towards the beginning, I was like a little worried because as a new seller, it's a little bit more hard to sell stuff. But it's just started picking up, and then I have to say, sourcing is probably my best attribute right now. And like after college, what I want to do is hire someone to list for me because listing is definitely my weakness and organization as well. But yeah,
Yeah, I honestly, so the one thing that I like to do for the Ross game, I think you've done a little bit, is when you're buying these cleats on clearance that are deeply clearanced, a lot of times it's the end of the season for what you're buying, right? So it's the end of football
yep.
season. That's the reason you're getting these cleats so cheap. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't realize that the idea of buying these shoes or cleats at Ross cheap is not necessarily to sell them the next day, but to wait until the
Yep,
beginning of next season to sell them. And now,
absolutely.
and that's where people need to understand, because you're buying ahead of the next season. So you're not, if you have the capital, you're actually buying it for next season. And I think
Yeah.
that's what people that they don't realize. They're like, oh crap, really cheap, I'm going to sell it. That's great, but it's going to move a lot quicker next season. So
Definitely. And actually, to start off, I really didn't ever get anything clearanced. I just like, I didn't really know what I was doing at first, but I just trial and error. The first, I want to say 5 months, I actually just did returns. So if I didn't sell something, I would just simply return it back to Ross, and it would actually go back on the shelf, right? And then after I made sure to talk to the manager about this, but there's like a policy where there's a 12-hour window. So after you return something, you can't rebuy it for 12 hours. So what I did originally is like if I didn't sell stuff, I'd return it, and then I'd usually wait about a day or two. And if no one picked up the shoes and stuff, and if they put them on clearance, then I would go buy them back, and then I would just keep them because I was like, okay, I'm saving like $20. There's no way I can lose money on this. And to this day, I've never lost money from buying a shoe. So like I used to do a lot of returns, and then I realized I was like, wait a second, if worst comes to worst, I can just sell it for like $10 more or like $15 more than I paid for at Ross and make $5 and like still profit. Is it worth my time? No, but it's definitely a good learning lesson.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And so I'm really curious because I'm actually in this game too. I love buying at Ross, Burlington, TJ Maxx, like Marshalls, all these places, right? So who's your inspiration like in the reselling, field basically? Like who do you like following? And the reason I ask this is because the last, I've started this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? I'm inviting these. My goal here is to invite people all around the US that are not Insta or YouTube famous and have them on my channel because I want people to discover these amazing people who are selling on the same platform we're using. And that being said, and the reason I bring that up is I'm really curious because a lot of these people, I'm curious how they started and more importantly, who inspired them to do this. So who inspired you?
So I'd have to say Hustler Hacks, and Hustler Hacks is like for the shoes initially, and then Hustlebee is also a great inspiration. And then originally I was planning on doing Amazon. I was just experimenting with eBay and then going to go do Amazon. But then I kind of fell in love with doing eBay. And so before I had like connected with OSS Empire, Jedi Reseller, and Reezy Resells, and all those dudes they just put out fire content. And then I just would message them, ask them questions, not questions where I could Google it, but like questions where after I Googled it and found the answers, just like ask more in-depth questions. And then now that I'm more of an established seller, I have a few go-to people to ask questions for, and that would be OSS Empire, Thrift, Love, Resell, the Posh Hanger, Jedi Resell, and a few other people. But you guys are all great support.
I love me some Hustlebee. I love me some Hustler Hacks. Those two are amazing. I actually met them in person last weekend. So they're amazing people. Really, really cool people.
I really wish I could come out to the meetouts, but I just can't miss class, No, one day.
That's important. That's important. You're going in the right direction, man. You've seen that. You have all of what you need. You have the space for your inventory. You have the knowledge. You're young, and so you have a lot of time. You're a smart guy. You're going to crush it, and that's why I want you on this channel. That's why I want a lot of people on this channel because you guys need to be spotlighted. So let's do this. But all right. So how long have you been selling on eBay? Give me the skinny. I'm curious.
So let's see. I've been selling for about I want to say 10 months. Now the first couple months were not really like super crazy. I would just like pick up like football cleats and I wouldn't even be making a whole lot of money. Now that I think about it, I would buy some cleats for like $30 and sell them for like 54. And so I was literally only making like anywhere from like $8 to $15. But I was just at that point, I was just trying to get feedback and just get sales. And then I'd say that I've been hard reselling for about 5 months now. And actually, at one point, I got suspended on eBay, or twice I got suspended on eBay, and I had all this inventory and nowhere to list it on because I was suspended. And the suspension was because another seller reported me for an inauthentic item, and it was because I had a lower price than them. And so they went on the two listings that that I had a lower price on, and they reported me. And unfortunately, eBay doesn't have like a verification system. So basically, they took that as solid evidence that my items were inauthentic, even though I had 100% feedback, no problems with any customers or anything. And I probably called eBay at least for 20, like the total amount of hours I spent calling them and was about 24 hours probably, just spread out through like a week and a half. Nothing. I talked to supervisors, no one helped me. And then finally I just kept calling and calling, and I have to say persistence is key, because finally one of the supervisors also sells on eBay, and he asked me a question. He's like, just curious, if you feel comfortable, where do you shop at? And then I told him I shop at Marshalls, Ross, Nike outlets. And then he said, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because what they did is they flagged my account because I had posted items they viewed at like a higher market price, and so I would post them apparently lower than like the market price. And so they said that they're quote unquote, they said it was too good to be true that my items were authentic. And then once I told him where I sourced, he's like, man, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Like, let me figure this out. He like went off for like 3 minutes, went on hold, and then he reactivated my account. And honestly, like I didn't know if I would, like, how long it would take to get my account back, or like, because like it happened twice where I think the same seller did this to me. And no matter what, I even had pictures of my shoe on the photo, like on the listing that got removed and flagged. And I even was able to provide them access. I would have even shipped them the shoes if they really needed to verify the authenticity, but they didn't have any system to do that. So it was pretty unfortunate.
That the problem with that is it's it's happened to a lot of us. Like the Hustle Bee had to happen to him, right? So, and he's got a ton of over 100, I think 100,000 listed now. So you can imagine having all that inventory, and and at the end of the day, this is not our platform, right? So
yeah.
That being said, it's tough. I've actually never had much of an issue. I think a lot of times you've got to, unless you have a really, really established account that's been selling for a while.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's tough. So I want to know. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I actually noticed that as soon as I started selling more, I actually noticed that the problem went away immediately. And came to the Bay, and a few other people I asked, I was like, I would just ask them like, hey, like, what do you do, eBay suspensions, blah, blah, blah. And like, they said that Clutch, that's who I'm missing. The Clutch Lag and Caden Jet, those dudes also crush it. Caden Jet is such a cool dude. I asked him for help about the eBay suspension, and he told me to create like placards and size and establish. He never had those problems. And then as I became an established seller, those problems completely went away. And I even call seller support every once in a while and ask them to check my account and see if I need to improve anything, and just check in with the supervisor, and they view my account. So
makes sense. It's scary. That's one thing. So I will be going full time soon, and that's a little bit of a scary thing. Where at the end of the day, your livelihood is based on this platform, and I'm going to do I sell on Posh now, Poshmark, and anyways, so you definitely got to protect yourself. And I know that a lot of high end sellers will put like a plaque, that shows their selling name on there with the shoe. I don't do that, but I think that would help a little bit. Obviously, feedback's going to help. And I did have one instance where somebody bought a Nike item from me, claimed it wasn't authentic, even though it had the tags, which is odd. And at the end of the day, I called eBay right away once I received that message, and it's like, hey, look, I've sent thousands of items to people all around the world that are collectors, and this guy's saying it's authentic. It's not authentic, and they just notated in the account so that way, if there was some issue that arises in the future, that they can reference that basically. So it's a little bit scary, like when you're selling these higher end goods, but at the end of the day, Now that you're kind of established and your account's established, you should not have much of it. But I wanted to ask you, this is my favorite question. This is my favorite question. But before we get to this question, I want to ask you, and before we even get to that, I want to let everybody know that soon we're going to do a 4-item haul. So just stay tuned. But the question I have to ask you is, how has eBay changed your life, like your mindset? Like, I know that you're really you like doing it, but how has it changed your mindset? How has it changed your life?
Yeah, so definitely ever since I was a kid, actually, I was kind of, I always saved my money, whereas like a lot of kids would spend the money they got. Any dollar I got from my parents, any dollar I got from Christmas money, birthday money, I would immediately put that in my savings account. And from there, I always just knew that I was saving to invest in something. And then one day, I wish I'd figured out sooner what I wanted to do with my life, but about sophomore year in college, I figured out this reselling game, and then it really just took off. But yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, actually, I have a sister. She's 31, married to an awesome dude named Ross, and they actually just had a baby January 1st, and so I'm an uncle.
Nice.
It's the most amazing feeling, and I just turned 21 too, so I'm a legal adult.
Yes, that is freaking amazing. That's really, really cool. So what about your so it's you got your mom, your dad, and you've got your sister. Do you have, are they all in California?
Yep, they're all in California. We all live within a 40-minute period, or 40-minute drive within each other. Yeah.
That is fantastic. It's tough. Like, I told my friends that I sell on eBay, and they looked at me like, what? Like, it's funny when you talk about eBay, people they're like, eBay's still around. It's really weird how that is. And nobody takes you seriously. Not just eBay. Nobody takes you seriously about like for example, last month, like I did close to what, 8,000, right? And that's keep in mind, I'm part-time, right? So yeah, I mean, just people they don't associate, selling online with like eBay and all that. And people don't realize that Amazon, majority of it's real people like me and you. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what also blows my mind is that, well, at least when I started selling, I definitely had a lot of people who really didn't understand what I was doing, because I would like post it, I'm buying it at Ross, and they're like, so you're ripping people off? And I was like, no, or I'm not ripping people off. I'm buying things and finding the market price I'm finding the value of the shoes and then selling them for what they value at. But actually, I think there's a huge misconception with reselling, is that like a lot, like even my parents, my mom is like, well, like, why wouldn't I just go to Ross myself then, instead of buying it from you? Cause like I had, in the past, people have just came to me and bought shoes and stuff. And she's like, why don't they just go to Ross and buy it themselves? And the answer is that out of all the Rosses and Marshalls and Burlingtons and TJ Maxx's I've been to, the selection of goods varies so much. Sometimes you find a pair of shoes and then you never ever find that pair again. Yep. And so you find specific pairs of shoes that people that people desire, and then you post them on eBay, and I have actually saved a lot of people money. So like, whereas people think that I'm ripping some people off, in reality, a lot of times I'm actually only making $20, $30 and saving the buyer like $100, especially some of these cleats. I actually want to show you one of these cleats. Let's see. So these are some, sorry about that. Here's some nice football cleats, right? They retail for $160. And so I sold them for about 54 to 60 and made about 20, 30 bucks. And I mean, they saved what? Almost $100.
Massive
off
amount.
Retail price. Yeah.
Yep. The one thing too, just if anybody says that, remember, it's just like buying stock, right? So for example, 2 days ago, I bought Groupon stock because it was quite low, thinking it would bounce back. And same concept, right? You're buying low and you're selling a little bit over market value because I know Groupon is undervalued right now. So same concept. But I think it's amazing the fact that it shows amazing amount of intelligence to buy an item that you're buying that to then resell for more, and you're taking a risk on it because you're putting your own money down. And at the end of the day, it's an amazing way to live because you can set your own hours, you can be with family. So
it really is. And to go back to your question about how eBay changed my life, I kind of blanked for a second, but just the ability to work on my own time is just like such an incredible experience because I worked as a lifeguard for about 2 years at Legoland, and it just felt like a slave job, as in like I would just do the same thing over and over, repetition for someone else, and I didn't mind it that much, but the more and more I worked, the more and more I felt like I was just building someone else's dream. And like I've always been inspired by my dad's hard work. He has a great paying job and great benefits, and that's one of the things where we disagree on is he believes in getting a job secured with benefits, and as much as I would love to have benefits, I would much rather be able to have my own schedule. And also eBay and Amazon both give you the freedom to travel. So let's say I want to go meet up with you in Portland, Oregon. I can bring a U-Haul trailer. I can hit like 100 Rosses and make a sourcing trip out of it. Come visit you, come back, and then at the same time, I can have, if I hire a worker, someone who's listing back home, they could be listing while I'm out sourcing, and it's just so awesome. I love it.
Yep. I think that's amazing because the fact that you can travel with eBay with any platform that you sell on, you're your own boss. Now with that, you've got to actually, there is work involved, but it's really exciting times. I can't tell anybody enough that right now e-commerce is not peaked at all. In fact, I think
it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
I actually just a couple days ago, I just searched random weird things on eBay. You guys would be surprised. I encourage you, go on eBay and just type in something weird and search sold listings. I guarantee you'll find weird stuff that sells, and like some generic products that are just so cheap on Alibaba. It literally blows my mind. And in the apartment I live, every time I come back home from school, there's always packages on people's doorsteps. And like, it's just like the new, like as Gary Vee said in his book, Crushing It, it's the new digital age. And if you're not taking this opportunity, you're missing out. Whether you're a full-time reseller or you just want to do it on the side, there's room for everyone.
Yep. And that's why I'm doing these interviews, guys. Like, I want to get people that have not been on social media, and they're, it's amazing to me that, and starting a YouTube channel is tough. Like it is definitely tough, but that's why I want to uncover so many amazing people like you that are going to school, that are working full-time jobs or selling full-time, that are just not under the spotlight right now. So it's pretty incredible. It is amazing. And I want to know, this is a question I ask everybody, 2018 goals for you. What's it look like in the rest of the year?
So as of right now, I just reached 320 active listings. I need to relist about 24 items right now. I actually ran out of the free store. I have a store subscription, just the basic one. I ran out of the free buy it now insertions, and so I actually just did auctions for some of the items. And I really don't like the auctions, but I would just basically do it at the same price as my buy it now. And believe it or not, I've actually sold like some items that would just sit with watchers. I would just literally put it to an auction. I would put it at the same exact price. And then for some reason, I'm guessing it has to do with like the buyer sees that, oh, okay, so it'll be gone in 7 days no matter what. So I'm going to act on it right now instead of watching it and then just keep staring back at it. So I started doing some auctions, but like the last 2 days, I've just been listing with the 20-cent insertion fees. I was considering upgrading, but I don't think I'm going to be able to list 100 by the 31st or the 1st. So I think I'm just going to stick with the 20-cent insertion fees. It's not too bad, but yeah.
Yep.
Other goals would be organization. Here, let me show you guys around again. Let me give you a little tour. So I walk in right here, and then I have my shipping box right here, and then I got a pair, like these are all rare Nike shoes in here. I got my little shipping station. I need to get a table. I got my eBay shipping supplies. If you're not already enrolled in eBay Bucks, I'm sure you guys are. Definitely get that. I got some free poly mailers, and then we got some more Nike down here, and then I have all my clothing in bins, and they're all folded. But one thing I need to do is get those clear plastic poly bags, like you and the last person you did a YouTube interview with. I actually followed her and asked her, "Hey, where'd you get those plastic poly mailers?" And she said she got them at Walmart, $3, or it's $3 for 100. And so I'm gonna start doing that. That way, instead of like shipping it inefficiently, every time I sell something, I have to go put it in the package right away. I kind of want to just have it set like OSS Empire. So you literally just sell something, you have the label identifier, the custom SKU, and then you grab it, and then you put the label on, and then you're ready to ship it. And also something that I learned from you too is that I would keep the Ross tags on, and it really just didn't make sense because I have a good spatial memory anyways. So I don't have even like a inventory system. Surprisingly, out of all the inventory I have, I actually lack a sufficient inventory system, and that's very unusual. It's just I have a very, very incredible spatial memory, and so like when I sell something, I literally know where everything is where I put it. But keep in mind, as I expand, I really, really need to organize. And let me show you a death pile right now.
I love death piles. No, I really don't. But let me see, because I'm curious. Is it bigger than mine?
This is all my death pile. I got most of this from San Diego last weekend, but basically all of this starting from here is stuff that needs to be listed. All of this stuff needs to be listed. And then all this stuff is listed right here. Listed. There's some baseball cleats, football cleats, basketball, and then more baseball cleats, and then got some Adidas shoes, etc. But definitely a lot to list. And that's why I think I need to hire a worker. And I think I have my buddy who's going to help me out just because he really likes what I'm doing. And he really just wants to gain experience, and he'll like literally do it for free just for the experience. But
I think that's amazing. You have so much opportunity. And if I was in college still, I think I'd do Amazon buy merch, get like all the college students to do designs for me.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the acceptance, but I have so many ideas. I have just because like I just know some of the college phrases, and like I don't know. I really think, and I could even appeal to my college audience that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm sure you guys know, but most college campuses are pretty liberal, and all my teachers are very liberal as well. And my major is environmental science, so everyone kind of leans a certain direction. But I just knowing that I just know that I could come up with a lot of good phrases and things that would appeal to that audience. I'm really excited when I get accepted.
Dude, I hope you do. It took me about a month and a half. You should get these. You can see behind me, but you see these shoe racks. I just started putting them together, Man,
Yeah, dude, those are
they work amazing.
badass. I need to buy some. I'll
Yeah.
make sure to check out your Amazon link.
Yeah, $34 and they fit 80 pairs. I mean, give or take, right? But they're amazing and they roll too. They're on casters. So
Oh, that is perfect. I definitely need that.
yeah, you can
Yeah, I
fit
just
like
got the
a bunch of them.
cheap plastic ones from Costco for $20 when they were on sale.
Yeah, these aren't bad. These are 34, but they're they're like aluminum on the sides. They're pretty light, but they do really well. So yeah. So I want to tell you that, dude, you are amazing. You're inspiration to me because at the end of the day, I know how hard it is to need to learn, go to college, and then on top of that, work a full-time job. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Now, yeah, one thing I want to say about that too is actually now, like I do appreciate college and getting a degree. However, it's come to my experience that like at the end of the day, I feel like the only person who can teach you the best is yourself. And like although I'm good at the whole schooling thing. I get mainly A's and B's. My GPA is like 3.4. But in reality, like when I'm learning stuff, sometimes I'll forget the information. Like let's say I'm taking a botany class, which is the study of like flowers and trees and such. And then the next quarter I take physics, and then I'm so focusing on physics that I forget some of the stuff I learned from botany, right?
Mhm.
And like it's just been a constant experience of me and some of my buddies is that yeah, we learned some of the stuff, but at least for my college, we're on the quarter system and it's crammed in like 11-week periods of information. And like so most of I have to say maybe around like 70% of the information I learn, I completely forget. Whereas when I'm working on eBay and I learn stuff, that stuff sticks no matter what. Like you can, when you're doing eBay, you can only get better. It's just like same with sourcing. You source shoes, right? And then you find a new rare sneaker. So now you know that rare sneaker is valuable. And so you just keep going and going until one day you have it mastered. And so that's what I really like about eBay is that in school they teach you that success and grades are the only way to succeed. And any failure, if you get a bad grade in a class, you do bad on a test. Basically, you're punished with a bad grade, and so it's basically like in school when you fail, it's not a learning experience. You basically are condemned and you get punished for failing. Whereas in the real world, when you fail, it's literally the best learning experience ever. And so that's why, like, while I go to college, it's just like, it always goes through my mind. Like some of these, okay, take for example, business professors, right? If so all of them study their textbooks and such. If they know business so well, sometimes I question why don't they have their own business? Why aren't they pursuing their own interests or their own business interests? And maybe some of them want to teach, maybe they have a passion for teaching, but there's no way more than at least 40% of them are just doing it because they didn't find anything else to do. And so instead they want to teach business. But I know I'm kind of more of a hands-on person. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Hey, I can tell you that you're going to be a lot more interested. You're going to learn a lot more, and you're going to retain more information when it's something you enjoy.
Definitely. Yeah. And the way that teachers teach sometimes too is it's through their perspective, and sometimes you learn a different way. Like everyone has their own way of learning, and so sometimes it's just difficult to cater to someone else's perspective when I know you just have a different understanding of something, and yeah.
Yep. So I've got a question here for you, and then we're going to do our haul. So
All right.
first question I have is the last question here is I want to know how social media has helped eBay and has integrated with your life to help you with eBay, but also yourself. And it could be YouTube, could be Instagram. Like how has social media impacted you?
Yeah, this is actually a really good question because as of recently or towards the beginning, I felt like a lot of the sellers who were connecting, they were just giving out great information, and like I just learned so much. And I don't know, within the last couple months, I've definitely noticed that social media has become more of a money making platform for people, and I respect it because they're providing value to the client, and that client would not have that value otherwise. And so yeah, they can go out and do it themselves, but you're basically paying for time. So let's say like I've considered taking some Amazon courses like JP Chris Marketing and Jacob Schultz. They have great private label Amazon courses. It's like around $400 to invest, and like you would think, or like my parents or anyone would think, oh, that's a scam, like that's a waste of money. $500, that's expensive. I pay like $420 for a single class at Cal Poly, whereas if I spend $400 on one of their courses, I'm guaranteed to know to learn something, and that like it might be $500. It may cost $500, but the value is just far, far beyond that.
Yeah, it's real world value. I mean, real world value. People that's actually done it and they're doing it. So,
and in terms of social support, anytime I had questions, like most of the resellers would happily answer my questions. And as long, I can tell you one thing is that a lot of resellers will get tired of people and they won't build a good connection with you if you just ask them questions that you can Google. And I've just talked to some of them, and some of them like will have people ask like the same repeat questions or just ask really simple things. And it's just like, why don't you just go do your own research, figure it out, try to find it out. And if you can't, then come and ask them. And I feel like that approach is a lot better. And at least for me, I've built a lot of social media friendships by doing that. Whereas I wouldn't just like constantly pester them for questions. Or like, oh, how much did you pay for this? How much did you pay for that? How much was the profit? Instead, I just kind of sat back and just like commented on people's posts that I thought were inspiring, or oh, like if I saw someone post something that I liked, I would just simply comment and I would try to connect with them. And I definitely believe that any of you guys who aren't like super big on social media, I would just recommend following like any reseller you can. I usually try to like my main followers are just resellers, like whether they're small or big. I follow as many people as I can because it's crazy. Each person has like a small little nugget that the other person didn't have. You know, everyone has their own perspective, and that's what I love about social media.
Yep. I follow a lot of people on social media. It used to be where, Instagram is an amazing way to find out deals too. For example, the Nordstrom Rack deals that was happening. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about that until they started seeing receipts posted. So it's a great way. And a lot of people, they'll have their handful of resellers that they follow. And then, that way they can only capture the information they want from those people. But I think that social media is huge. It's one of those things where it hasn't even tapped its potential and never will for a very long time. So,
that actually brings me to a question too. So I've noticed a lot of new sellers on eBay, and the competition doesn't concern me that much because, so a lot of people have been undercutting prices lately, and like I've been noticing some of the cleats that I have. People will have them listed for like $36.99, and it's like, and like they're all new sellers, right? And like they're just like they want to make a few bucks and like get feedback. It's a little unfortunate to me that I wish everyone could figure out that sharing the value is much better for everyone, because if let's say that we all price it at the same price or relatively close, then we're all going to make more money. Whereas if we start undercutting each other, which happens a lot on Amazon, we're all going to eat less. And so I guess I really enjoy the fact that there's new sellers, but I do hope that they'll one day understand that undercutting the market price is not a good way to do business. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, there's a few things.
I'm patient enough to wait though. So
Yeah, there's a few things with that. One, I can understand. So when you're starting a new eBay account, a few things that you can do to boost it is for me, the three top things was getting top rated, 250 listings, and then on top of that, I wanted to have you need to gain feedback. And I know that getting top rated, buying items and getting feedback that way doesn't count towards it, but it makes you look a little bit more. It's having some sort of feedback. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
So don't worry, man. You're busy. So that being said, I get your points. I think one thing too, though, is you can combat that by having a lot of items in your eBay store to help with that. But more importantly, once football season comes around for those cleats, you're going to notice that all those bottom guys are going to get cut out and bought. And there's just so much, there's so many people buying at that point that I think once the actual season appears, then you'll be able to get rid of a lot of that merchandise basically. But
yeah.
So anyway, so let's go on to your haul, because I'm looking around your area there and you have an amazing amount of shoes. Amazing.
Yeah.
So show us some good stuff, man. You can even do more than 4.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so there's a little story behind this shoe right here. I actually bought this straight off eBay because I saw the shoe and I was like, gold pineapple right here. Like, man, this must be worth some money. I did a little research and figured out that it was decent. And then all of a sudden, I received the item right and I went to list it. And I noticed that a bigger seller had like a huge amount of these shoes in stock, and they were selling them at $56.99, and that's how much I had paid for it with shipping. And this is more of just an experiment for me. But what I decided to do, I was like, how about I wait until all of them sell out and then list it? And now I have them listed at $99.99 free shipping. And I have 3 people watching them right now. And I'm sure enough, probably within the next couple months, they'll sell. And so it wasn't like the best investment effort. But one piece of advice I can offer for you guys is don't be afraid to wait for the value to go back up. Because even if there are price tankers, the reality is that it'll sell eventually. And if you're patient enough to wait, and if you can afford to wait, then you will be able to sell it at a higher price. So,
yep. And, just like that goes back to our cleats thing. It's, a lot of these new sellers, which is completely fine, are doing lower prices just to get the feedback and get their feet wet, and selling items. And the value will go back sometimes, most of the time.
Definitely. Yeah. Most of the time, hopefully. And then these next ones are just they're called Game Changer. They're just interchangeable baseball cleats. I got these for, I think $1.99 with the tools, and they sell around like probably $45-$50, but just simple little finds for $1.99 are always nice.
That's crazy. $1.99 and the tools, that is rare.
Yes. Yep. And then I got these Lebron Soldiers. I'm sure you've had to seen these before, have you?
No,
I've usually seen them in black.
Yep.
But I got these for $19.99. And also, one thing I think you guys should do is, like, when you source at Ross and Marshalls and stuff, I would make friends with the managers, because at least for me, I get discount anytime there's like a small little stain. I'll get 15%, or if there's not a price tag for something, they'll give me the cheapest price possible just to help me out, because I've been straight up with them. And like, it's actually kind of weird too, because I've had some problems with some managers in this in my San Luis Obispo town. I didn't agree with the previous manager, and like one time I had a pair of Jordan cleats for $19.99, and I go and ring them up. Right, I was spending around $700, and the last pair, she starts questioning me. She's like, $19.99 Jordan cleats? There's no way this is right. And I had seen it. I was in a group with Flip a Dollar. We had this group chat where we would post our finds and stuff. And so they had posted it for $19.99. I was like, oh, I'm going to go check my Ross. I went and checked, and then I had them for 19. They had them for 19.99, and then the manager was like, "There's no way these are 19.99," and so she held on to them. She's like, "Well, I can't sell these to you." And I was just like, I was very frustrated. I was like, I'm spending $700 right now, and like you're not able to help me out. And I even showed her the picture of the same shoes with the same SKU number, and she refused to do the price that it said on the tag. And I was just like blown away that she would do that. And actually, long story short, she told me she would get back to the actual price and she would call the other Rosses. And anyways, the managers and the employees had a miscommunication and they actually put them back on the shelf, right? Mm-hmm. And they were supposed to hold on to them for me. And then I was going to come back the next day and pick them up for whatever price they were going to give them to me for. Well, they put them back on the shelf for $19.99 and someone else bought them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, come on. Really?
That would happen with me.
Yeah, but with that said, now the new manager, me and him are buddies. He actually just left to Lompoc to manage another Ross, but he introduced me to the new manager, and the new manager even offered to hire me, even knowing that I was reselling. And he said, yeah, like, job's open for you if you want. I mean, as of now, I really don't want to take it. Just too much on my plate, but I don't know.
You got that's the there's many things with the reselling game. One of them is every Monday they mark down clearance, whether it's multiple different departments. We never know until pretty much the day before. So I always call my Rosses on Sunday and ask, hey, what are you guys marking down Monday, so that way I can be there Monday. And like, for example, this week was men's shoes and clothes, right? So I picked up a bunch of I showed this in one of the other videos. I'll show you guys real quick, but I picked up a bunch of these raw denim jeans. So get this. So this one was 49 cents, right? And which is cheap, brand new, right? 49 cents. But then get this. So these exact same jeans were $13.99. And then this one was $11.99, right? So exact same jeans, but they're way more expensive. This one 49 cents. These other ones over $10. I talked to the manager. I've seen them there before, and they went ahead and made all the prices 49 cents. So to answer your question or kind of reiterate, get in good with those employees and those managers. Be really nice.
Do these ring a bell? These are the same ones. Guess how much I got them for?
Oh,
49 cents. Let's go, baby.
But I am jealous.
Yeah, I have a good amount of those too. Mine are just purple.
Things. Those
yeah, I got you. Yeah, 1 second. These are the purple ones.
49 cents for, dude, those are going to fly. Somebody's going to buy that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've already sold 2 pairs already for $34. So.
Oh my gosh. But look at this. Like, I got 3 of them for $1.50. I mean, come on.
Dude, I got I don't know if you ever heard of Rock Revival, but they're very popular jeans. I paid $6.99 for a pair of Rock Revival jeans. My dad actually was sourcing with me, and he found it, and I was just like, I remembered it from some thrifter. It could have been Posh or someone, but I just had remembered they were thrifting used stuff, and they said, look out for Rock Revival. And then I saw it at Ross. I was like, wait, is this the brand? Mm-hmm. $6.99, and then I looked it up, and its comps are like 120. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome,
dude. It is. I mean, 49 cents for that's the thing is if for my standpoint is when I go to Ross and I find something for 49 cents that's not just random t-shirts, I pick it up, and a lot of times I don't even look at comps because it's 50 cents. You pick this new with tags, that's cheaper than Goodwill bins. I'll sit on that thing forever for 50 cents. Do
you guys have any DD's discounts in your area? Or
no.
Is that a California thing?
I wish. No, we don't have any.
Yeah, they actually they don't really have that great of a selection, but these KDs, for example, they're pretty nice KDs, a solid black and silver color. Mm-hmm. I got them for $1.99, and they're size 16, but it's just like you can't go wrong. Like those will sell easily for $80, and like the buyer will be stoked. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of my buddies have big feet, and they can't find their shoes in retail stores, so they shop online, and so that's where we come into play. We get them shoes for cheaper, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
You're picking up these shoes. Yeah, you're picking up these big shoes for cheap, and like you said, it's tough to find these big feet shoes. And so, I mean, they take up a lot of space, but man, they're easy to sell. I sell them all the time.
Definitely. Also got some Adidas Game Day. I can't remember the team name of these. I got these for $1.99, and these are like Adidas, like literally that the team wore. And like they're size 18, but like paying $1.99 for like game day shoes are just unreal. Oh, and then I got the Cornhuskers below, those little blue ones right here. I got those for like $2.99 too.
Oh,
and then also these I still haven't sold yet, but I have them priced pretty high. I got them for $7.99, and I actually to this day I can't find these comps. I can't find this shoe anywhere online. I've seen it on like Pinterest, but other than that, I even asked a few people, "Hey, do you know where the shoe is, or like where I could find it?" And no one really like knew what it was. And to this day, I still haven't really figured out a good way to label it on eBay. But I have had a few watchers. I have it priced around 115, just because I know they're rare. I just wish I could find the actual name of the shoes, but
I've never seen that. Have you asked Glenn, by the way, with Hustler Hacks?
Yeah, I think I did ask him, but I'm gonna ask him again because I remember him and Easy OG said something about like a 2004 like Christmas collection or something like that, and like I did it led to a dead end, but still want to figure that out.
Dude, if there's none out there, like just name it yourself. Like name it after you. You know.
Definitely. Yeah.
What else you got? I'm curious because I'm a little bit of sneakerhead. Like I like buying stuff at Ross.
Yeah, definitely. I got these Asics girl belt. They're called like Bell Gel Court. I got them for like $11.99 a piece. No, $7.99 a piece, and they sell for around 60. But it's weird because see, if I wanted to, and what a lot of people will do is like they'll get something for super cheap, like, oh, you only paid $6.99 for it, so like let's sell it quick for like $40 and then get rid of it. I'm a little more patient. I have them priced around $63. I mean, they retail for $120, and so I kind of just let people sell. I've sold like 4 pairs, and I still have like about another 6 or 7 pairs, but I'm willing to wait to sell them at 60 instead of just getting rid of them at a cheaper price. But
and that's the beautiful thing. If you would have spent more money on a lot of those shoes, I can see trying to get your capital back that you put in. But if you're spending, really cheap prices for some of these shoes, like $1.99, $3.99. Like it's so little like investment, you're into it so little that it's okay to wait.
Yeah, definitely. Here, I want to show you some more cool Nikes. See, I've sold like a few pair of these. I'm sure you guys have seen them around.
Oh yeah.
We got some. I actually just recently started sourcing at TJ Maxx, but they had so many shoes on sale because like mainly women shop at TJ Maxx, and they had a lot of shoes that just like no one would go in there and buy them. Like these, for example, like these are leather Jordan Horizons. They're like $22 at Marshalls, and they sell for at TJ Maxx, and they sell for around 100. And then I got some. Oh, this one's a cool story right here. So I actually met a collector on eBay, and he liked this Olympic hoodie and messaged me that he wanted to either buy or trade for this Olympic hoodie. Ooh. I got this for $19.99, and it's honestly a pretty badass hoodie. Like and I mean, it represents USA going all in for the gold. But anyways, this guy, he messaged me and wanted my email address, which you're not allowed to message people outside of eBay. But anyways, he messaged me and he purchased one of my items. And so I did a little research, and once a transaction is completed, you're allowed to communicate. It's kind of like a gray area, but
Yep.
anyways, I communicated with him, and now we're good friends. He has so much vintage stuff. It's not even funny. But the problem is he has so much good stuff. I don't even know where to begin. I can't even figure out some of the comps because some of the shoes that he has are just so old.
I would check.
And like,
I've got a lot of vintage Nike, like I don't know, a ton of it. And one thing that works for me sometimes is Worth Point. I'm sure you've heard of that before. The site. I get some
I've
stuff.
never had. That's good to know.
Yeah, that helps. Basically, Worth Point for you guys, it's not about Nike at all. In fact, it's just a database of what, pretty much everything since the dawn of time has sold on eBay, and you can get a free trial. You go on there, you get a free trial, and it'll give you like pretty much the listing of what's sold on eBay. So it's pretty cool. But I was have you used Gov Deals? Because I actually am in the process of buying another Nike lot, but I wanted to show you guys. I got a bunch of these hats, and I've been selling them like crazy. So my cost on Gov Deals for these were, I think, $4.75, but they're all new with tags. And
That's badass.
yeah,
Wow.
it's hard to see, but like you can kind of see the little sparkles, like the little galaxy black. Man,
Wow. Yeah.
dude, they are cool. People love them. Like there's like 23 watchers and people buy them all the time. I got like 3 offers today on them. I saw them for $28. So
Good deal. Heck yeah. Yeah, and this dude who wants this hoodie, he's actually I'm gonna be talking to him later tonight after this interview. But I'm trading him a hoodie and like $40 for like a pair of rare Jordans that sell for around like 500 on eBay. There's like this one that's 500 and there's like 14 people watching it, and so like I'm stoked because I got this for $20 and I'm paying him $40 cash to get a pair of $500 vintage Jordan shoes. And this guy also, have you ever like gotten like warm up jackets or anything? Because he has a ton of retro Jordan warm up jackets like that they wore during their games, and like I can't find any like sold listings or like comps for it. And like I know there has to be money in those because just the looks of them are so amazing. Like my buddies back home who are Nike collectors, just like they saw some of the pictures, they're like, "Yo, dude, you have to get that one. I'll buy it from you any price." Like,
oh yeah. The one thing I like about Nike is it's one of those markets. If you get like some good vintage stuff that they don't make anymore, like US warm-up jackets or anything for that matter that's old, that's like blue tag Nike or maybe even earlier than that. I mean, just set it at a price and you'll sell it. It just takes time. So
absolutely.
but I've got it's just amazing. I keep saying this and I keep saying this over and over again. What I'm trying to accomplish with everybody, trying to get new sellers on here, like I have learned the 3 sellers that I've already had on here, because I'm going to do this Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. I've learned so much from you guys, and I want everybody in the chat to realize that Hustling literally didn't know he'd be on until about 2 to 3 hours ago. Like my actual interview, Glenn will do next week, had to cancel, and he didn't even know. So we don't rehearse any of this stuff. This is raw, right? So
yeah. I actually want to show you one more find because I was telling you I was sleeping on TJ Maxx, right? And I saw a few people post that they had yellow tag clearances, and so I went in. I actually had talked to Luxurious Products. I don't know if you know him, Luxurious Products USA. He sells like high end like Coach, like Gucci, stuff like that. he's absolutely crushing it as well. But he said, go check out Marshalls and Ross, right? So I check, I mean, not Marshalls and TJ Maxx. And so I go to TJ Maxx, right? And I literally find a giant clearance rack just full of these boots, right? $8 a piece. They retail for like $240. They're like Catherine Maladrino. I know nothing about boots, but like dude, I have like it's crazy. Like I have them labeled as like Catherine Maladrino pearl ankle boots, and like I sold a few of them, and I paid $8 a piece. I sold the long end boot for 100, and the other one for like 60. And it's just like I never went to TJ Maxx because the last two that I went, there was absolutely nothing. And from that, I learned don't be afraid to like go to a Ross or a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx and find nothing, because there's so many more that'll just have insane deals.
Oh yeah,
it'll just blow your mind.
I'm really curious, and this is one of my last questions because I want to be respectful of your time, but I'm really curious, like what your friends think. Like they like, I'm sure you've got friends over from college. Like, what does your friends think? You got like heels and pearls, like heels. Like, what do they think?
Yeah, it's actually funny because I'd say about maybe like I honestly don't think the majority of my friends quite understand the extent of work and like persistence that it takes to run this kind of business. I think a lot of them kind of see it as I'm literally just buying shoes and then selling them for a higher price. And like as you know, and as most of you viewers know, it's like a lot more work than just simply buying it and reselling it. And but there are, I'd say, around 10% of my friends who are like some of my good buddies. They just absolutely respect my hustle, and like they always keep me motivated. Like I'll post sales or like tell them what my sales were for the weekend, and they're just like, hell yeah, dude, like keep hustling. Like, and then a few people don't even sell on eBay, but they just like are doing their own thing, like either working with a company or whatever. But we always just motivate each other. But it's a different environment for some people, because some people just like my buddy who works, he's a manager at Nike Outlet now, and he was telling me that they're like my friends. They're not like super good friends, but they came into Nike Outlet one time and they were talking about me selling shoes and stuff, and they were kind of like making a joke out of it, and like he didn't really like it. He told me, he's like, yeah, man, like I don't know, I just didn't like it. Like they were kind of like laughing and like thinking it was a joke, but I was like, I know you're hustling your ass off and like you're literally killing it. So but honestly, I've learned that people's ignorance, it honestly just fuels me. So I don't really let any of that negativity get to me. But
you're only gonna live once. I was thinking about this the
exactly.
other day. Like you're gonna live once. I know that that's like overly used, but it's funny. Like I'm gonna be 32, right? And
Yeah.
where did the last 10 years go? Like I don't know.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I know, it's my mind.
Just live your life, have fun, do what you love doing. I know you love this. You love Nike. You love shopping. You love you need to love listing, but that will come.
Yeah. Just curious, how long does it take you on average per listing to list something?
It just depends. Like the way I do it basically is I like to take a ton of photographs, and then I'll do it in stages for me, because if I don't do it in stages, like it'll never happen. So I like to do like 100 to 150. So what I'll do, just to give you a quick heads up, so I'll take the pictures, I'll take it with my phone, I'll upload the pictures from my phone to the listing, the draft, and then I'll go to the computer and I'll bust out all the listings, and that's how I do it. So I mean, it's
Gotcha. How long? Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
But,
Usually, my new goal is to list 15 a day minimum. So, got to keep on that goal.
Yeah. And I was thinking about too, like, so I haven't done this yet. I don't know if it'll matter, but I was thinking about doing like, so when I do 100 to 150 like pictures, 150 listings, I was thinking about staggering them throughout the like 3 days, like every hour do one listing automatically, just to see if it would boost it.
Yeah, that's weird. There's some, I swear there's some eBay algorithm that I still haven't figured out quite yet, but I don't know. It's strange because sometimes I'll list stuff and then like literally no sales, and then all of a sudden I sell one thing and then another thing sells, and like Monica Posh Hanger had this strategy of like auctions and how it brings more customers to your store. And I like tried it a few times. It didn't work as well for me, but a few times an auction would end, and then like very close to that ending, like I would immediately get another sale of a buy it now. And I don't know whether like eBay, like if you sell something at eBay, like kind of like promotes your item or your page more or what, but there's definitely some algorithm. I haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yep. Well, guys, I want to say first and foremost, smash the like before we leave. Please subscribe if you're not. And I want to tell, I want everybody to know where they can find you. So real quick, while you're telling everybody where they can find you, I'm going to see if I can get your eBay link in the chat so they can start adding you. So let me do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, guys, feel free to follow me on Instagram, DM me with any questions. I would love to just connect with you and figure out different niches that you go into, because I mean, we can all bring value to each other. Like me, I'm good with like men's clothing and shoes, but like in terms of women's dresses, I know I'm sleeping on tons of good stuff. I just like sometimes I come across an item and I'm like, I really don't know how to list this item. Like, what is this called? Like a bubble dress, or like what is this? But yeah, I would absolutely love to connect with you guys. Send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is Hustling Hill. He'll put it in the link below. But,
all right, so I've got his. This is his YouTube channel, guys. Please go subscribe. And so you got some stuff coming out on YouTube, possibly.
Yeah, I'll start coming out with some videos. Probably in like a week or so. Cool. Maybe just some basic videos and tips. But.
Yep, keep it on. Even thing with YouTube, it's consistency, because when people love you, they want to see you as much as they possibly can. So, yep. I just want to say I really appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this short notice. Like literally, let me see real quick here. It was like I think it was like literally. I've got you on Instagram here, but let's see. It was 5. What was it? Oh, 5:04 is when I messaged you to go live. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you so much.
Also very appreciative of you having me on. It was a great experience, and I'm glad I can connect with some of your fans and colleagues as well. So
yeah,
nice to meet everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Please remember, next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be interviewing 3 more people. This Saturday, I've got an interview, and also possibly Sunday. So I'm not trying to blast a ton of content at you guys, but we've got some great stuff. And it looks like, what type of phone is this? This is the iPhone 7 Plus. You guys like the case, so.
I'm an Android guy.
Yes. Oh, and then on Instagram, it's hustling _hill, and I'm gonna, after this call, I'm gonna post something with him tagged in it, so you guys can click that and add him. And like I said, look out this Saturday, this Sunday. I'm doing a live show Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, I will have more people on. So, but until then, thank you so much for joining Hustling. You're amazing, buddy. Crush it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Everyone crush it. Deuces.
See ya.